Prayer religion has a big part in sports, most people would say. Such popular athletes participate in prayer, such as Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens, Kevin Durant of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Tim Tebow of the Florida Gators and formerly the Denver Broncos. So, how does prayer affect the men's lacrosse team at Furman University? When interviewing, Jack Tangent interviewed through an etic perspective since I did not pray before the game, and Nick Ranta did it through an emic perspective since he is part of prayer before the game. Most of the guys we interviewed are religious, and some of the people that we interviewed follow as Graham Dabbs, starting attackman, Connor Griffin, scout team captain, Mike Toto, second line midi, Mark Cohen, second line midi, Joe Stone, starting defenseman, Ben Longnecker, backup defenseman, and Tom Farner, starting defenseman. After reviewing the interviews, Nick and I came to the conclusion that the ritual prayer before games has many parallels to the other groups we have studied this semester. And in this presentation, we will go over which experts we have studied and how their theories of magic religion relate to the ritual prayer before the game. The first expert that relates to a lot of the interviews is Malinowski. Malinowski wrote about the Trobriand Islanders, and a lot of the prayers relate to some of the rituals, the magic that the Trobriand Islanders did. Many of the players on the team think that religion is indispensable, such as how the Islanders thought magic is indispensable when dealing with things. And a lot of them think they should pray before every game, such as Joe Stone and Connor Griffin. Also, another thing is that they think it helps with things they can't control, like the Trobriand Islanders, such as when they think they need help with their agriculture and when fishing deep at sea. And some of the guys that talked about this were Graham Dabbs, Connor Griffin, Button Monecker, and Mike Toto.
I'm good. So Joe, it's true you participate in prayer before the game?
Yes, before every game I say a Hail Mary as well. Afterwards I say St. Jude, pray for us.
That's good. Do you think it helps with any plays you don't have total control over?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, breaks of the game, the ball, things happen. It can be lucky, unlucky, but sometimes maybe it's prayer helped you get the right break.
That's true. You participate in prayer before games, correct?
I do. I pray before every game. Sometimes before practice.
So, what do you think of prayer before the games?
I think it's a definitely. I mean, you should pray before a game if you're religious.
Do you believe prayer helps with plays in the game you can't control?
Yeah, sometimes if you're playing a big opponent, you pray to God you don't get killed out there. And, I assume that individually he comes and he actually listens to my prayer. And, all the people in the world, he's just listening to me. I'm the only important one.
Successful.
And how about individually? Do you think God helps you individually when you pray?
I'd like to think so. I think he's a guiding force and something that helps me in my athletics.
So, Graham, do you think prayer affects any parts of the game you sometimes don't have control over, like a shot or a ground ball you're not sure you're going to get?
Jack, I'd like to say that it does. Sometimes maybe if the defender is playing very well that day, maybe a little bit better than I am, maybe the goalie is playing out of his mind, and I have a tough pass to make or a hard shot to make. I'd like to change it up on the goalie sometimes, maybe close my eyes and so he can't really tell where I'm looking at the goal, and I'll kind of just throw it in there because I kind of have a feel for the goal, but I also know that I have God with me to kind of guide the ball into that top corner, maybe off the pipe for one of my friends or teammates to get a rebound. So, I don't know, if you wanted a little demonstration, I like to close my eyes and then rip it behind the back off the...
Paladin attackman Graham Dabbs scored 5 goals, including a game winner 56 seconds into the second overtime, giving the Paladins their first win in program history, a 13-12 decision at VMI. Head coach Richie Meade talks about his team's first win and their upcoming road.
On the next interviews, we'll see how Durkheim plays a role in lacrosse players' lives, because 3 of the theories that it brings up is that religion is a natural expression of society, performs a form of social cohesion, and that all religions can be understood true once it shows what they represent in society. This is present in the lacrosse team's prayers. One of the examples of this is that religion provides a sense of community, unlike magic. All the people there are involved in participating in it, just like our team players, as compared to magic, where there's a clientele system. And also, that there's also a set meeting place, like the locker room for us to pray.
Me and a group of guys like to pray before games, but then again after games, Coach Mead likes to pull us aside as a team and pray. You know, I think it really brings our team together and unites us.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it affects the team, gives them more confidence?
I think it kind of brings us together, the spiritual bond,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's just kind of like a bonding thing.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think prayer helps the team in any way during the game?
Yes, I think it does. I mean, it really brings us together. I feel like a lot of the kids pray before games, and it, I don't know, it gives us confidence going into it that there's someone out there like watching over us, giving us like helping us how to go the right way, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Next interview we did with Benjamin Longnecker was the theory he posed with Helen A. Berger, who wrote Teenage Witches and the Magical Youth in the Search for the Self. What his idea was that his idea of religion or magic was more focused on the individual and less on the team.
How do you believe prayer helps the team?
I mean, not to be that guy. I mean, I'm not really praying for other people's safety out there. I'm praying for mine. I mean, I go out there. You know, I'm number one out there, so come and watch me. You know, I'm playing out there. There's people trying to take my head off. I dodge them. I do my best. But, you know, in reality, you know, I'm praying for my safety here. It kind of helps the team in a bit because if I don't get hurt, you know, the team, you know, benefits from that. But, you know, rather than that, it's a very individual prayer that I say.
So you would agree that prayer helps you individually?
I would and I wouldn't. You know, prayer is more of a guide. It's more symbolic. You kind of learn what you need, what you actually need by praying. You don't pray for what you need. You kind of pray and learn from that prayer.
Des Charles is another expert that comes up on our interviews. One of his theories was that how rituals and activities changes how a person feels. One of the rituals that we do is the team prayer before every game. This allows the team and the players involved to feel confident. This allows us to get the edge over our opponent, which is very important in a D1 atmosphere because everyone's about the same, and this allows us to give the edge to win. After prayer, people feel a sense of belonging and community in the lacrosse team. This allows us to have more chemistry on the team, allows us to perform better.
So, do you think praying helps the team in games?
I definitely say it helps the team in games, gives us a little more confidence. Confidence boosters are always nice to have before a game and during the game. It also gives us a little more faith in each other.
Think it affects you, like, gives you, like, any advantages, helps you in any situations you may not be fully assured in?
It is very assures me in a lot of different situations, especially, you know, if I'm feeling sad or troubled, you know, anything. Prayer is just a very positive reinforcement for me.
So do you think prayer affects how you play, like, individually?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, I know from experience it gives me confidence. I mean, it's a thing I've done ever since freshman year of high school. I went to a Catholic high school, and before every game we'd say a prayer, and I don't know, it's just become a ritual for me, so I think it definitely helps me.
Do you believe prayer helps with plays in the game you can't control?
Yeah, definitely. I think it gives me the competitive edge in the game.
The next expert is Tanya Lerman. I think an explanation of how health effects from God aren't from a direct cause from God. Rather, God promotes good feelings, which promote better health. The lacrosse players relate to this because they said earlier that God does provide unity and confidence and can help with certain situations. But they say and realize that God is not choosing what teams wins games, or if they pray more than another team, that they will win the game.
Do you think that God would give an advantage to a team that prays against a team that, say, doesn't pray?
No, I wouldn't say that he does that. He might be a little more happy with a team that prays, I'd say, rather than a team that doesn't. But God never turns his cheek to anyone. So
That's true.
he's always willing to welcome anyone into his home. And it's never too late to start praying. So I think he's just giving them another chance to start praying.
I understand. So Griffin, do you think God cares about the outcome of a game?
No,
Why not?
it's not fair if he gave the advantage to one team.
That's true. Even if one team prayed and the other one didn't? Interesting. That's true. Do you think God cares about the outcome of a game?
I don't think he necessarily cares about the outcome of the game, no, but I think I don't really know. I can't really answer that. No.
Do you
But I
think-
don't think he cares winner or losers. I think he cares about the effort that you put forth.
Do you think a team would perform better if they prayed and another team didn't pray before a game?
No, I don't think that has effect on the game. I just think it's more of a you have confidence that there's someone out there looking over you.
Alright. Thank you.
Edith Turner is the last anthropologist that I'll go over. Edith Turner related to how an outsider views it, and Tom is the last interview we went over, and he gives his view as an atheist and how he perceives prayer, and how he thinks it could help, and why he thinks it is not always smart to do, and does not think it's a very rational thing.
Tom Farnish, your starting defenseman. So Tom, do you pray before games?
I do not pray before games. By
You-
choice.
Yes. You are an atheist, correct?
That is correct.
So what do you think about the guys when they pray before the game?
I think it's stupid. They're like talking to an imaginary person in the sky. Like, I don't understand it.
Some of the guys I've interviewed said it helps them. Why do you think it helps them?
I mean, we're 1 and like 11, so it must not be helping them too much. I guess the other team's praying more than we are. Like, I bet Dad said something about that. Like, he definitely thinks it helps him. Like, definitely doesn't. He sucks.
I mean, he did say prayer helped him a lot, but he did score the game-winning goal with that closing his eyes and hoping God helped.
Yeah,
Do you think that actually helped?
I think that was the same game. He had like 10 turnovers, so I guess he works in mysterious ways.
Do you think them praying helps them give confidence before the game, thinking like something's helping them?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, that's definitely plausible. If you think something like that is as powerful as God is on your side, it could definitely give you confidence.
Do you think it like brings the guys together?
I don't think so, because I mean, there's guys of all different religions on the team. You know, there's a few Jewish guys, people like me. I think there's just people of like different levels of commitment to God, to
Interesting.
prayer. So
Last question. Do you think if you believe in God, do you think he would care about the outcome of a sports game?
I do not. I think there's a lot of other people with a lot more pressing issues than whether or not we win a lacrosse game. So.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Tom.